Right, I've been following what's been going on, and I've just been down with the flu, but all of this could have been avoided. As you are all likely aware, there's a bunch of drama going around with Warhammer, a lot of it stemming from the issues with AI, alongside a lot of other stuff that's just kind of tacked onto it. So we need to have a proper conversation about this. First things first, AI has always been just kind of bad for Total War. It's not just Warhammer 3, it's been a thing for a long time now. In fact, I can go into like previous videos where Creative Assembly for Warhammer 3 have been trying to improve the AI, announcing an AI rework in August of 2024 last year, and there's been a lot of posts about that. Extra ones in September, more in February this year, and then obviously we had the big push when it came to just recently where 6.2, not 6.3, but 6.2 was fixing up AI, which didn't really fix a lot of problems. Then 6.3 came in, and that not only added problems, but also elevated other problems too. In fact, a lot of these problems aren't even that new. If you go into the Creative Assembly website, there is a bug area where, yeah, I know there is an actual place to report bugs, even though it's not really advertised too well. It's pinned, and that issue started 2 years ago. Well, it says 2 years ago, but it's actually March 2024. The fact is, you can actually go back into further issues because AI problems were popping up, because this is a new website. There have been AI issues popping up for a long time, and it's never really been tackled too much. Some instances of good changes have come in, and yes, they have improved the game slightly, but then we've seen the AI kind of derp out once again. So we've been having AI issues for quite some time, but it's not what the main problem is. This could have been avoidable had there been some actual communication about that. There was a response that came out shortly after Legends video, which, you know, goes into that detail regarding what's going to happen. It's on screen right now. But that was a response in an individual Reddit thread. This was a response to someone's comment. With the deepest respect, why is that just an individualized comment that can easily get lost? And I think a big question is, why is what is considered official communication by community managers in an unofficial Reddit? Creative Assembly do not own this Reddit. Why is essentially core news about the game being posted in unofficial areas? What's next? The next game is going to be revealed in Total War Center? This should have been a proper update where we would have seen proper communication on Steam, on the website, on Twitter, on the Discord. Now, I don't imagine that the CA employee in question that responded had enough time to react properly, because, yeah, that was after hours when that comment came through from him. So I imagine that he was doing his best to diffuse the situation, but we've had situations like this in the past, or very similar, and communication was handled a little bit better. If you might remember, during the Twist in the Twilight, everyone was kind of pissed off that the Wood Elves basically got screwed in that mechanic. The Forge of Daith was completely awful. It looked like just a generic pop-up compared to the Flesh Laboratory. This is from an old post way back in the day. Creative Assembly heard everyone's drama, did a post, and then said, hey, we're going to do a beta, see if you guys like the newer version, and go from there. Which ultimately, that was a lot of favor that they won by the player base. Good communication, even if they mess up, helps tremendously. My question is why communication has been handled so badly during Warhammer 3 compared to other titles. Warhammer 3 had a lot of issues like the right to criticize as a privilege, or such as the cost of Warhammer 3. What is that? Why is that? What happened to just speaking to your customers, your consumers, or whatever you want to call them? What happened to just speaking to them like adults and then having fun with them like adults? The communication also that nothing is basically going to be done until 7.0 at this very moment, and they have been discussing about trying to bring it further, feels kind of weak. Not only was this just a reply to someone's comment, but it's just basically saying, yeah, it's going to happen at the same time as the DLC. The problem there is if this AI is not fixed for the launch of the DLC, well, nobody's going to buy that damn product. It does feel like a bit of a gamble because it has happened in the past where certain things look great when you're looking at the content creators during early access, and I'm not saying the heavily edited videos, I'm saying the live streams where nothing can be edited, where problems can be seen, then maybe a patch comes in right before the launch and it breaks a lot of stuff. Again, I am not faulting the employee who tried to mitigate the issue on Reddit. He is likely just doing his job and was probably told, handle this because this is how it works. But a little bit of wording there would have been better overall. I think it's very important to very much know your audience. The Total War fanbase is more than happy to buy loads of DLCs. I mean, how much money has been spent so far on this series? Free games and then countless DLCs, with the fanbase actively begging for more. All that the fanbase does want is consistent communication. It's fine for a developer to have a bug. It's fine for issues to prop up. Believe it or not, it happens to loads and loads of video games. But when a core issue arises, people just expect essentially due diligence regarding these issues, which have been popping up for a number of years now, and communication. This fix needs to come in before Tides of Torment, or else the DLC will suffer overall. I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to take a while. We might see Tides of Torment being delayed again, which I've been looking at the reviews. A lot of people are mentioning Tides of Torment, a lot of people are mentioning the delay or the distance between DLCs, but the majority of them are looking at the AI situation. It does feel like announcing a DLC is probably a bad idea at this point, and this is coming from a content creator. Like, I'm going to be very honest with you, I rely on fucking DLCs, right? It's the time that content creators generally make a lot more money. And it's been a shit year so far. The constant droughts, the actual lack of knowledge of what's going on, you know, this is supposed to be a big year for CA. This is why you see content creators like myself or others going on edge, because views have dramatically dropped. And this is not the fault of you guys. If it's not an interesting video to you, it's not an interesting video to you. But the fact of the matter is, many of us have dedicated ourselves to Total War as a franchise, and we have no idea what's going on. I can be very honest with you and just say, yeah, outright, I've been struggling to pay bills and stuff. I've had to dip into a lot of my savings, which is not really ideal because I was planning on moving this year. And I'm locked into that. I was trying to make my life for the better, and I'm here now panicking because obviously moving to a different country is not cheap. But I don't think it's a good time to get a DLC out. Unless they can get it fixed sooner, it would be a massive disservice to the fanbase, which, regardless of the constant shit shows that have been going on since this game is launched, we've still asked for more DLC, we still asked for more everything. People are happy enough to throw money at this title. I don't understand how this could be fumbled so hard when this isn't even a new title. Warhammer 3 is the third part into a series. Had it been a brand new game, a brand new IP, then yeah, it would have been shit, but it would have been kind of expected, given how launches have been for Total War games. I love this game. I've got close to 4,000 hours on it. I would have more, but every time there's been a bit of a shit show, I've just kind of disassociated myself, because that's all I can do. What am I going to do? After the launch of Warhammer 3 with the Realm of Chaos stuff and after Shadows of Change, I just decided it's sometimes better to take a step back for the sake of my own mental health. Because how many content creators during this really random drought have gone absolutely dark? How many have started just disappearing? Sometimes just going away. And it pains me sometimes because I want to play this game. I really think that the only reason I have the old world back, why I have the tabletop game that meant so much to me as a kid, is because of CA. Long-time viewers of this channel know that I used to post every single day. There's always something to talk about. Now it's a struggle sometimes to get another video out, because it's just quiet. It's definitely quiet. It's not that I have ideas, it's just I start recording and I say, well, this isn't good enough. I had a bit of a crash out in July, which became its own shit show in its own right, and it was because of bugs and stuff that were happening and just ruining the game. Not only that, but it kind of led to my community on my Discord just saying, oh, well, you know, Warhammer 3 is on its deathbed, it's going to be Total War 40k soon, whatever, right? The problem is, saying that just got me going, because it's like, well, is it just going to get abandoned again? Is this title going to get screwed over like Three Kingdoms did, or other Total War titles that do have some pretty clear bugs and were just left over because the next money came along? Creative Assembly have a lot of projects in the work. We know this December there's going to be reveals for the next Total War games, and it looks like it's going to be a fantasy and historical. It could be whatever. It could be medieval free. I don't really care at this point. But it's really important to realize that that's 2 extra games, maybe even 3, you never know. And then we've got Alien Isolation. There have been other games in the past where have been kind of just developed for the sake of being developed. There was Total War Elysium, the card game, Hyenas, and so on, right? It's good that Creative Assembly wants to branch out, but it feels like it's way too many titles. How many games are being worked on? There's all these rumors that there's more Total War games being conceptualized, which is good, but What is their idea here? Is there just going to be a new Total War game coming out every year or something? Back in Warhammer 2, there was a really good sweet spot. There was Total War Warhammer 2, Three Kingdoms, which really didn't hit the mark, and that was bad planning for the DLC team there, I think. And Troy. There were 3 Total Wars getting consistent content, basically at the same time. It was like month after month, we'd have something for one of the Total Wars, and that was great. You know how amazing that was? Not just as a content creator, but as a person that likes Total War? What happened to that? That's my big question. We can't blame Hyenas and we can't blame Shadows of Change for that. That stopped basically at Warhammer 3. It's odd. Where are the community managers constantly memeing? Instead, it just feels like very corporate type of just posts all the time. There has been some sort of shift. That's the only way I can describe it, where a lot of the communication, or just in general, makes it feel more like EA rather than CA. I don't want to start calling out the Legend situation because I don't want to profit off this drama. Legend is my friend. We speak all the time. We were speaking constantly during these past few days. He explained it to me, and ultimately it's going to be for the best. His mental health and everything else comes first. My only concern regarding him right now is that he's doing well, because he's helped me out a lot when I've had some bad days, and believe me, in the past 2 years I've had some pretty mentally exhausting days, and he's always been there just to chat and to try and make me feel better. He's been one of the only few people that I can trust in this community, so out of respect, that's all I want to say. The focus of this video is Total War. Where is the communication? Why is it taking outrage to get core issues acknowledged? Where is the known issues list that we used to have? Are patches being tested? Just in general, what is going on? I've seen some people say, well, content creators during the early access of patches didn't note the core issues. I can't speak for others, but we had very limited time with 6.3 because we don't get that much early access, as a lot of people seem to think. We don't have months with a build in advance. Sometimes it's just less, so we have to focus on the content that's there. Again, I can't speak on the behalf of other content creators, but I had very little time because at that point I was also busy trying to get, the move sorted. I was trying to get everything sorted because I'm taking my cats with me. That's a lot of work because they have to have tests done to be able to move to a different country and so on. I'm not always at my PC, and sadly, lately, I'm just not always playing Total War. It's not that we shouldn't be having these issues, because issues can always pop up. And that's expected from a large title. But at the very least, just acknowledge it. Talk to people about it, rather than just going absolutely dark. A response to someone's individualized Reddit comment is not enough. That is not the communication that's expected from a AAA company. Look at what happened to Blizzard. Look how many times they had to be gutted out before they went, oh crap, we need to actually start talking to the community. Lately, stuff for War Within has been great. Midnight, the next expansion, looks fucking awesome. It looks like there's a lot of communication going on constantly. While Creative Assembly is not the same size as Blizzard, and I doubt they'll ever be that size, Creative Assembly does have a fairly large community team. So why aren't they communicating? Who's stopping them? The backlash could have definitely been avoided. This issue isn't new. It's been known for a while. Alongside that, it just makes me question if the devs are being supported enough. Is all the rumors about just Warhammer 3 being stripped down to a basic skeleton crew true? Because it just kind of feels like it. And I should not have to tell you this, guys, but you shouldn't be all hyped up for Total War 40k or whatever, whilst this is happening to the current mainline title. Because what Creative Assembly need to do is break the wheel of what they've been doing constantly. They need to make sure that they leave titles in good states. If it's happened once, it will happen again until something changes. While a community bug fix mod is useful, there should be no need for one, especially for something like this.